Good evening, XRP community. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Let's jump right into the news here. I found an interesting article today about worldwide carriers set to launch distributed ledger technology tomorrow. And these are some giants in the telecom industry, and these are some giants as far as fintech is concerned. But I do not want to get into that yet. I started looking a little bit more into telecoms and XRP and Ripple. I've seen some of these in the past, and I haven't seen some of these documents in the past here. So, if you are not aware, the International Telecommunication Union, originally the International Telegraph Union, is a specialized agency of the United Nations that is responsible for issues that concern information and communication technologies. It is the oldest global international organization. The ITU coordinates the shared global use of the radio spectrum, promotes international cooperation in assigning satellite orbits, works to improve telecommunication infrastructure in the developing world, and assists in the development and coordination of worldwide technical standards. So, this sub-branch of the United Nations seems extremely important as far as implementing technical standards in telecoms, and we can see that they're pretty big. Now, granted, I'd never use Wikipedia as a source unless I'm trying to give general information to people. I never source Wikipedia. You can do your own research on the International Telecommunication Union as far as their general, what they do generally. I was just trying to provide a brief kind of a primer here for everybody. So now keep in mind the ITU, International Telecommunication Union. This document here, I found this a day or two ago. This is from them, the International Telecommunication Union. And this is entitled the Financial Inclusion Global Initiative, or FIGI. And this is from the standardization sector of the International Telecommunication Union. So this is from the sector of that branch, which is a subsidiary of the United Nations that, implements standardizations across the board. So this is from November 2019. They talk about the Ripple protocol in here. What I found extremely interesting, which is right under the header of financial systems and right under the header of the subheader of interbank transfers. Crypto assets can act as a bridge between fiat currencies that allow financial institutions to access liquidity on demand without having to pre-fund accounts in the destination country. That sounds mighty familiar. For example, cryptocurrency network Ripple is using its global RippleNet payment system to connect a number of developing countries together to undertake interbank transfers through the XRP cryptocurrency. The solution, especially since it bypasses SWIFT, is touted as a solution to de-risking and aids in inserting liquidity into markets by enabling remittance flows to countries that have been impacted by removal or by refusal of correspondent banking relationships, as well as facilitating trade finance. Ripple's XRP asset, which it's not Ripple's, but let's keep going. Ripple's XRP asset using its XRapid system has been in place for interbank transfers and are finalized over the local payment system, which added just over 2 minutes to payments, speeding up from settlement times of 2 to 3 days on legacy systems. Portions of the payment that rely on XRP last 2 to 3 seconds, minimizing exposure to price volatility. This is, this is from November. This is November of 2019. This is basically a subsidiary of the United Nations. So let's see if they have anything else about XRP in the past here. This is from the International Telecommunications Union again. This is September 3rd through September 6th, 2018. ITU Asia Pacific Center of Excellence Training on DLT, Blockchain Ecosystem, and Decentralization. They talk about cross-border payments, and right under the main header of cross-border payments, there's a problem in cross-border payments as of 2018, and that problem is fourfold. There are few high-volume currency pairs beyond USD, UKP, Euro, and CAD. There is a need for liquidity to easily convert between the originating and destination currencies. Nostro and Vostro, we've got one for each, one on the back end and one on the front end. Historically, financial institutions accessed liquidity through pre-funding accounts in the destination country. Opportunity costs of scarce capital sitting idle in accounts, compliance and account maintenance. Scarce capital sitting idle in accounts, all that locked up liquidity, which we know cannot be the standard moving forward. I mean, we know we're in an impending recession. I don't like getting too much into the doomsday type stuff, but things only go up for so long before they need to go down. So, and the model is not viable in the legacy system for low volume currency pairs. What does the ITU, who is a subsidiary of the United Nations, suggest? They suggest a solution, and that solution is to use a digital asset instead. And the solution that they just so happen to mention is XRP. And they have XRP listed in the very center here between USD, CAD, KES, CNY, PLZ, the yen, Philippine pesos, and the euro. Maximizes liquidity between fiat currencies. I also found interesting if you go onto ITU's website and you type in XRP in the search to try to find documents, there's a bunch of different things on here. You can't access them because they all need a username and a password, basically. So this brings us to today's article. Worldwide carriers set to launch distributed ledger tech tomorrow. And these carriers are not small. These are extremely, extremely large telecoms players in the industry. This is Deutsche Telekom, which we know is a giant, Tata Communications, which is an absolute giant, AT&T, Verizon, and C-band, which is what they're calling this platform, is also backed by leading technology providers, including Consensus, which we know is RippleNet, R3, and let me move on here a little bit further. So this is their white paper, Communication Business Automation Network C-band white paper version 1.0. We can see R3 in here. We can see Consensus in here. Move forward a little more. This was an interview actually from, now the GLF, I believe the GLF, and I was looking up this today, but I think GLF is Global Leaders Forum, and Global Leaders Forum is the one, is the institution that's, or whatever the name is, it's actually implementing this C-band network or whatever it is. So this GLF, I'll just read this paragraph. And the GLF is expanding its reach to other bodies in the wider telecoms industry, not just the I3 Forum and MEF, which Hauptfinger has already mentioned. He says the mobile industry's GSMA, now keep GSMA in mind, and the International Telecommunication Union. So this project that's going live tomorrow isn't only just going to be a siloed thing. And if you read their white paper, it's all about interoperability too. They talk about the International Telecommunication Union, which we know has mentioned XRP based on what I already presented, and the GSMA. Now, the GSMA I had never heard of. I started looking into GSMA a little bit here, and I did find something interesting. So the GSMA, opportunities and use cases for distributed ledger technologies and the Internet of Things. They talk about Ripple as far as speed, but we know that's XRP. I will link this. This is C-band. This is this project that they're going to live webcast tomorrow as far as the DLT release is concerned. Now you get into GSMA a little bit more. What I found really interesting in the connection, and again, this is going to be a shorter video. If you remember the blockchain report that Ripple just put out, the flywheel set in motion. So Ripple's blockchain and payments report 2019. And down in the references, it references GSMA and GSMA intelligence. I could not find, generally if there's a reference, there's probably a sentence that has a small little number above it that references that, wherever that quote's pulled from. I didn't find that, but I also looked briefly tonight because I mainly wanted to focus on the International Telecommunication Union. If you guys find that, please post that in the links. And I hope you enjoyed this, or enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. I'll post another one soon. Thanks.